Okay, David, I've spoken to you after defeats before. On Saturday, though, it was the first time that I thought I saw you personally upset by a performance that your team had given. Would that be a fair comment?
I'm always upset, but on Saturday I felt that the occasion got to some of our players, and certainly they didn't fulfil their potential on Saturday. And I felt, that the gesture of the day was a tremendous occasion. That the people really came out to support the players, and the football club, which is the bigger picture, is that they came to take up the offer of the day, which was an amazing gesture from the directors and the chairman. And I felt we'd let people down, and obviously I felt let down myself. Very disappointed with some of the contributions, and obviously that was why I was rather let down, if you like.
We spoke after the game, and it was, I imagine, hard to try and pick out one particular area where that game was lost. You've had a chance now to look at the DVD. What's that told you about Saturday?
Well, there was areas that I think the whole first half, was forgettable. Gateshead got stuck in from the first minute. They came to certainly get in our faces, which was the right way to be. And we didn't, our most influential players certainly didn't make any influence on the first 45 minutes, which is why I felt we didn't really have even a foothold in the game. We were there, but we didn't, we weren't sort of, the most influential players didn't have any influence, and that was why we struggled to put, any cohesion. We battled and we worked hard, but that's not enough. We were at home, and certainly on the stage that we were on, I felt players didn't do themselves justice for the occasion.
You mentioned that stage you were on. 7,261 people were in Field Mill on Saturday. This question is said with the greatest respect to your team, but did some of your players bottle it on Saturday?
Well, bottle it's a word that you're using, not me. My players have never shirked any fight. Your interpretation is up to you, how you say that. But we all carry emotions, and certainly if that's your terminology, then you can use that. But that's not the terminology I would use.
But shall we say, did some of your players freeze then on the big stage, like you said to me on Saturday?
Yeah, if you bottle something, that means you really don't want to be there and turn up for the fight. The players wanted to be there, but perhaps the emotion of the day maybe got to one or two of them. So I have the greatest respect for my players, and I feel that you can't keep kicking them. No. And they got a rollicking from me at half time, and I felt that was the occasion as well. Was that I don't scream and shout when you've got taken a defeat, and sometimes you have to be pragmatic. I don't think that you need to keep shouting and screaming, but certain players got reminded of their duties, of course, and that will always be the case, because you have to be constructive. If you've just got a manager that screams and shouts, you get nowhere with that. I played under some very good managers myself, and some managers that never used to shout and scream. Sometimes it can have an influence. The day on Saturday, it passed us by. We've come a long way, come a hell of a long way in 14 months, and it's only our second defeat at home. So there's a lot to be pleased with on our home form. But as for the players on Saturday, the second half was a lot better. But I felt if we'd have got the first goal, the next goal would have always been the important one. We just didn't manage to do it. I must say, their goalkeeper pulled off 3 or 4 very good saves. So on another day, we might have had a slice of luck as well.
Lady luck hasn't been with you, has it, David, over the last 2 games, especially away at Wrexham, and then in that second half performance at home against Gateshead. Now, there isn't the saying in football that you make your own luck. What have Mansfield Town got to do to try and get Lady luck back on their side?
They're all sayings you're coming out with today, aren't they? For me, roll up your sleeves is a good saying, isn't it? Roll up your sleeves and show what you're about, show character. I've got no doubt my players will want to do that. They're good people, they're honest. And probably that sometimes they could be a bit wiser. But we're going to a team at the top of the division. Nobody will give us a cat and hell's chance tomorrow because we're playing Stevenage. But when you need that Dunkirk spirit, then let's hope that the boys can show that.
Let's get back onto your team. In terms of injuries from the weekend, Ollie Hotchkiss was was limping quite heavily towards the first half, end of the first half, didn't reappear in the second. First of all, how's he?
Well, he got nailed in the first minute, and the young man is learning about himself, and he felt we carried it. We asked him if he felt we could carry on, but I felt in midfield where we were a little bit short on Saturday, they seemed a little bit more fluid, and we didn't really embrace them as much as we would like to have done in the first half. Perhaps Ollie should have maybe come off earlier, but he wanted to carry on. And we have to look at the little man. He's a great kid, and he's learning about the aspects of football. But yeah, he looks like he's struggling for tomorrow night.
You've mentioned already to me today that a number of what you described as your key influential players didn't perform on Saturday. Are you in a mindset whereby there will be changes this coming Tuesday? Yes, most definitely. I say you try to be always pragmatic and decisive. But yeah, if there needs to be changes, then they'll be made, and they'll be made in a constructive manner. The players will always be spoken to in the correct fashion. But yeah, I mean, I don't think we can hide our disappointment of Saturday's result, and we're looking to bounce back. And there'll be other players who are being encouraged by the players that were out there who didn't perform to their highest ability. And I think that should be the case in every dressing room worldwide. Changes up front, there were chances on Saturday for your team, and like you said there, keeper made a number of fantastic saves, and I believe the woodwork also did eye you as well a couple of times. But you're going to be looking at your front two, or maybe front three. That's correct, yeah, of course. There was chances, and I say when you hit the woodwork and you get frustrated, and we had a number of good balls in the second half. That was where I felt Ryan and Jake and Gary Silk and John Challoner were more dynamic as such, and they put the ball into the good areas. And we were inches away from getting that first goal back in, so I think one goal would have really given that big crowd a lift, and unfortunately we didn't do it.
I was wondering if you feel your sort of host team is one earlier on this season.
I wondered if you bring that up.
Better taste in the mouth, didn't it? So
yeah, we know what we're going to go there with, Stephen, and we're expecting a tough game. But likewise, I feel that the physical encounter is something that we've got to be prepared for.
And games like this are a real test, obviously. They're not only playing a good team, you're playing them away.
Yeah.
Is that an area you feel that you need to improve, looking at some of the results when you've gone to the bigger teams away?
Well, I think we've got to respect the point more than anything else. There's times when we've had 7 wins on the road, which is a good amount. Certainly that's helped us, enable us to maintain our form. But yeah, I mean, you're going away from home to the form team, if you like. So you know, we're aware of the fashion which we've got to approach it. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's always an encounter. You have to manage the game with your wits as well as your skill.
And just going back to Saturday in terms of the crowd, as you said earlier, a fantastic venture by the boards. That's something I presume we'd like to see them do again. I think you can quite go as he wants, but having that crowd behind him.
The day, the occasion, the gesture was, everything was wonderful, apart from the result, and obviously that's why we're disappointed as a manager and players. But you know, to play in front of a massive crowd like that is fantastic for a manager. I enjoyed it. I welcome it. Of course I do. And certainly I feel that I would love to manage in front of 7,000 every week.
In experience-wise, it's dangerous looking ahead, but if Mansfield do get to play a final, play a semis even, and the home leg, playing for that crowd already, yeah. Hopefully the players will learn from that. Might not be as famous next time. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that did have a bearing on it, and I think at the delayed kick-off, you looked at the way you approached that, and felt we did it in a controlled fashion and a professional fashion. But to say the start, the deflected goal for them, it helped them, and it gave them something, the platform to continue with. They didn't play football after that; they went route one. But that was always designed to turn us around and put it into dangerous areas. The 2 boys up front for them worked very hard, and I've got no problems. I felt that the occasion did get to some of our players, but likewise, only they can prove when you're a player, you should enjoy that. You've got to enjoy playing in front of large crowds. Wonderful.
That's what it comes to the game.
Wonderful. I enjoyed it as a manager. It was wonderful to be there in front of them fans that wanted us to do so well. And I felt privileged, and I love my job, and I love being at the football club every day. We've come a very, very long way in 14 months, as I say, and now the expectation level is there. But if we could get them type of crowds, I hope that they do come back and give us another look.
And mean, just in terms of your job, obviously, if you're getting 3,000 extra on the game, just the budget-wise for players, how you know?
That's always the chicken and egg situation. You always want them more bums on seats, and I felt that one of the aspects, I don't know where if people looked at it, but there was a lot of children then, and I think that we have to try to attract the younger element. The chairman and I spoke when we first got here. It was about attracting the younger crowd, the future generations of football fans. There are a lot of fans at Mansfield who have been Mansfield through and through for a long time. Have seen lots of bad times at the club, but we hope sincerely that we can give them, the future generations of football supporters, something to be proud of in the city.